Hi, and welcome to video 4 of our 5-part series. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how you as members of the Family Council can help new families coming into your community. You may recall in one of the original videos that I introduced this idea of take the lead and be the guide that your families need and want, and invited you to consider how you as Family Council members can help to step in and be that lead and that guide for new family members. One of my favorite quotes that I want to share with you here is Maya Angelou, who said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And I can certainly attest to, when I think back, it's been 7 years since Ty passed away, and the moments that I remember that really mattered to me were those little moments that care team members or other family members gave me that look, or gave me a hug, or asked me how I was doing, or we shared a cup of coffee and a couple of laughs together. It's what I remember the most is how other people helped me to feel about the situation and the relationships that I was able to build. And so I think as Family Council members and as family members yourself, to have this opportunity to think about these questions. How do you want to feel about your journey as a family member of your loved one, their resident? And how do you want other family members to feel? And how can you help with that? How can you be a part of their journey, their story, their experience, the memories that they're going to have, that ideally they'll look back and they'll think more about those happy, connecting type of moments than some of the challenges or struggles that they may have been having. I shared earlier this idea of how we can build the culture on the way in, one family at a time, one conversation at a time, one interaction and moment at a time. And there's a real opportunity that as members of the Family Council, you can play a part in helping to build and shift and redesign the culture in the home based on how you're able to support and encourage and inform. I had shared with you earlier that my vision, my drive, the reason I do the work I do every day is to help that in redefining the way that homes onboard new residents and their families. And in 3 key areas around managing expectations, minimizing concerns, and reducing conflict right from the start. It's how we begin the relationship and make that connection and make investments into the relational bank account that we have in our relationships. And I strongly believe, and I hope that you see the opportunity in how you can play a significant part in, as members of Family Council, in the culture of your home, to help to redefine that as well, because you too can play a part in this managing expectations, minimizing concerns, and reducing conflict. And there's this formula that I want to share with you that says disappointment equals expectations minus reality. And I think it's a really powerful way of looking at this. If you even think of your own situations where maybe an issue, a challenge, a conflict has happened as a family member with the staff and your loved one, likely, if you think about that situation, it was because something occurred and you were disappointed. What your expectations were of the situation did not align with the reality. And whether that's a situation like clothing that gets lost or damaged, or glasses have gone missing or they were broken, a phone call about a situation that happened with your loved one and you were caught off guard. I mean, this really led me to writing the 20 misconceptions that families have in coming into long-term care. And the number one misconception that I listed in the book is the expectations that residents will get 24/7 one-on-one care. Now, that may have been something that you thought before you became a seasoned family member. It still surprises me the number of families who believe that their loved one will get one-on-one 24/7 care, where the reality is a long-term care home provides 24/7 care, but it's not one-on-one. So there's a simple example of where coming in with an expectation by no fault of their own, it's just lack of knowledge and information, that a disappointment can happen if you get a phone call saying that your loved one had a fall and you're thinking, well, but they're supposed to be watched 24 hours a day, one-on-one. How did that even happen? So there's an opportunity here as family council members in how you can help in closing that knowledge gap and ideally minimizing the concerns by aligning expectations with reality based on your knowledge and your experience. And from a family member being able to hear from another family member who's further down the path and knows the ropes a little bit more, it is incredibly powerful, and you can avoid the world of hurt that new families feel when they feel like they're caught off guard. And maybe this wasn't the best decision because they don't know what they don't know, and it's not their fault. So I want to finish by sharing some ideas on how you can support your new families. This may sound obvious, but let them know that they're not alone so that they feel seen and heard. It's almost surprising to think, how could anybody think that they're alone because they're coming into a community with many other family members? But we can tend to think that our journey is unique and the feelings that we're having are unique, and we don't know who to talk to about it. Let them know that what they're feeling is normal. The grief, the guilt, the relief, and then the guilt about feeling relief because now they've got more support and they've got a care team that's taking care of their loved one and has got their back. That they have agency over their presence. Right? We think back to the family flavors, and we can tend to have our jalapeno moments at the best of times, but that we all have agency over our presence, how we choose to show up, the energy that we're bringing into the room, how we are approaching a conversation. Are we coming in with curiosity, or are we coming in with judgment and misconceptions? That they can make this suboptimal reality work for their family. Right? There's none of us that put up our hand and said, yes, this is what we want to have happen. Of course not. We would prefer to age in place at home and be healthy for as long as we can. A suboptimal situation has come up and we need to deal with that reality, and we can make it work like you've made it work. And when families are able to share their story, to say, I've been there, I was right where you were, and I had these concerns, and here I am now. And of course, we would have preferred a different trajectory, but there's also been some great things that have come out of it. It's important for them to be able to hear that from you. And that their role in the relational triangle is important and valued. And how they can build productive, collaborative relationships with their care team, how they can recognize that they don't have to carry it all. And sometimes that involves being willing to give up control. I know I had a hard time because the way that I provided care for Ty and his routine, and I knew all of that, could not possibly be replicated by a care team. They did things differently, and that's okay. And then we got into a new routine. But my role as a family member, your role, and all family members' role is important and valued. And you have this opportunity to help them to clarify and adjust expectations. And a family member who, she said, when we know more, we can do more. We're more capable. The more we know, the more that we can do and how we can be involved. And so anything that you can do to help understand what families' expectations are, and if they're misinformed or unrealistic, to have that conversation and equip them with the knowledge and the insight and the information that you have. Your role as family council members is so key in being able to help build the culture on the way in, one family at a time, and to take the lead and be the guide that your families need and want.